pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Roll it.
Welcome to The Point.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? And once again, thank you for all the clicks. Thank you for all the likes, all the shares, all the subscribes. If you haven't noticed, the man on the other side of the screen here before I get started, Haystacks, the man, the myth, the legend. Of course, I am your boy, Ricky B. But the subscriptions are through the roof. Again, don't forget, we just passed the 3-month mark and we are still kicking ass and taking names. I could not be more proud, more humble, and I know Haystacks feels the same way. But we got to keep going. We got to keep the show going. We got to keep it rolling. We got to give the people what they want. And today, of course, Cinco De Mayo. So happy Cinco De Mayo to everyone out there in the Point Nation. But to be frank, let's get it in. Point or no point, the all new format for the show. Let's jump right in. Haystacks, I don't know if you heard, the NBA is considering using Disney World, a venue to resume the season if there is a resuming of a season at this point. Point or no point?
I want to regret this, but point.
All right, so the NBA, if they do not resume its season down the line, a method of doing so if they do resume the season, widely discussed, is the use of the so-called bubble city. The idea would be that all 30 teams, 16, of course, if they forego the regular season, would be all quarantined together to keep everybody safe, to keep from any potential exposure happening in the bubble city of Disney World. What do you think of that? I mean, how you feeling about this?
That is by far the dumbest crap that I ever heard in my life.
Hey, this is the point, man. Speak freely, you know. I mean, I'm sure you can see the smile on my face too, right? I mean,
Wouldn't it be just as smart to have the teams stay at either their houses or in their respective stadiums?
Look, man, it's like this.
I'm trying to figure out the concept here.
You know, I kind of get where they're going, but I to me, I understand. It sounds more like to me a PR thing. Kind of, I see. Me personally, I don't understand the reason they're finishing out the season. Because by the time you finish out the season, you're going to be starting another one back up again, and you got these CBAs in place that they're cutting down on their practices and they're cutting down on all this other stuff, just like the NFL. So, let me ask you this. Here's a little impromptu point or no point. Finishing the NBA season. Do we need to finish the NBA season? Or could this be the first year that we never have a champion?
I mean, at this point, if you're going to finish the season, take the top 4 records, put them in a freaking playoff, a 3-game playoff, and then play a 7-game finals.
Right. Now,
if you're going to do it and you really feel the need to have a champion this year, I mean, it's not like we haven't seen it before when we had the lockout for Major League Baseball. Just move the hell on and let's get ready for next year.
True story. Now, see, I'm right there with you on this one because I don't see a point in finishing the season, although I understand the NBA's point in wanting to finish the season because it's never been done before to skip one and all that. You want to have a champion. But do you want to have a champion? For instance, everybody knows how much the NBA loves LeBron James. LeBron James is the second coming of Christ himself. For all you LeBron fans out there, would you want to see LeBron James win a championship based off of, what, 7 or 14 games? No. Now, maybe LeBron fans would.
Do you want me to answer that? Because most LeBron James fans are just sitting out here like, he's the best in the world, so we should just give it to him. It's LeBron James. Just give it to him. He deserves it. Look at his school that he built. Just give it to him. That's LeBron James fans right now.
True story. He's a
philanthropist for crying out loud.
Yes, he is. He is a say that again? Philanthropist?
Philanthropist.
Absolutely. So moving on, as funny as that shit is. You gonna get what?
I'm gonna get some heat for that one, but yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. So moving right along, I don't know if you heard, but next point or no point, the Chiefs' Bashaud Breeland was arrested in South Carolina on multiple charges. Point or no point?
Yeah, it's a short one. What not the point?
Kansas City Chiefs cornerback Bashaud Breeland was arrested on Tuesday afternoon in York County, South Carolina, according to records obtained by the Post and the Courier. Breeland was booked at 1:26 p.m. and charged on 5 counts: resisting arrest, the transport of alcohol in a motor vehicle with a broken seal, open container of beer or wine in a motor vehicle, possession of 28 grams or less of marijuana and 10 grams of hash, and also driving without a license. After Breeland was told that he was being detained, just to clear up the rumors for everybody who out there, the bleeding hearts, thinking, oh, no, it was a misunderstanding. After he was told he was being detained, he tried to flee the scene. According to the police report, he pushed a deputy, and then he hopped in his vehicle and then allegedly refused any and all commands and orders given by the police department at that point. What is going on with Bashaud Breeland, man?
It's called athlete syndrome. And what's sad is he'll probably serve a 1-game suspension for this and won't learn a damn thing.
You think he'll serve a suspension? Because honest to God, the way I look at it these days, man, let's pump the brakes for a second. NBA, NFL, PGA, I can go down the line and we can name numerous examples of these athletes, these heroes, these role models, quote unquote. I mean, the Ray Rices, who's the guy that played for the Panthers that went to Dallas? Damn it, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The end. I'll think of it in a second. Are they really held to the same consequences as the general public? And I don't blame the NFL, the NBA. I don't blame any of them. I blame the court systems in those areas. If you're a celebrity, you shouldn't be treated any differently than Joe Q. Public, in my opinion. But honest to God, do you think Bashaud Breeland is going to actually serve any suspension at all? What I think it's going to be, at most, is a fine, and he'll never miss any playing time. Now, that being said, that's not to say this is the end for Bashaud Breeland as far as his behavior.
Who's he play for again? Redskins?
He plays for the Chiefs. He was a Redskin, and I think that may be part of the problem because
the Chiefs, yeah, he might get off with it. If he was with the Redskins, I'd say Mr. Rivera would probably sit him a game.
Ron Rivera would not play that game at all. Not at all. But Bashaud Breeland, man, come on, man. Extremely talented football player. And I'm going to speak for Haystacks on this one here at the point, man. Listen, we don't want to see you go down that road. Now, there's a lot of people out there that's saying, oh, it's just an open container. It's just marijuana. Well, that's all well and good. But if your family's coming in the other direction and this man crosses the center line and hits them head on, is it just marijuana and an open container at that point? Is it just, oh, the police are giving him a hard time? Just pump the brakes and think it through. Rashad Breeland, we love you, brother. You're a hell of a football player, and we want to see you here. We want to see you get your shit together. Now, hey, look, anybody who's ever been with a job for a really long time and gets released or gets fired. See, we don't get released out here in the working community. We get fired. You know what I mean? We're not a free agent. We're just unemployed, right? You know, there are some simple folks still out in the world. So I can understand how that would be devastating to be released and all this other shit and trying to pick up halfway across the country on another football team. But, brother, you are in the National Football League. There's a lot of people that would love to be in your shoes. And if you think I'm bullshitting, go back and watch the XFL games before it was shut down. Whole bunch of people that love to be in your shoes. So I think the simple brass tacks of this whole thing is get your shit together. So, hey, Stacks, next point or no point. This is a big one. Now, I know this is going to be a point, and I know we got to have some no points in here, but Andy Dalton, this is up in your neck of the woods. Andy Dalton was released by the Bengals. Point or no point?
Might as well be a point.
As I said, Andy Dalton has been released by the Cincinnati Bengals, and they save $17.7 million in cap space, so I understand why they did it. Also, their draft pick, right? We understand. The Bengals took LSU quarterback Joe Burrow with the first pick in the 2020 draft, which was virtual. We covered that last week, which is what made Dalton expendable. In his career, he was 70, 61, and 2 as a starter and finished with 31,595 yards passing, the second most in franchise history to Ken Anderson's 32,838 yards. And the franchise record for completions at 2,757, touchdown passes 204. He also has a career passer rating of 87.5, which is the best in franchise history for any quarterback with more than 344 pass attempts. Dalton participated in a Pro Bowl 3 times in his career in 2011, 2014, and 2016. But here's the kicker. He's already signed with a new team.
Yes, he has.
For a deal up to $7 million for 1 year, he has signed with the whole shit moment of the day, the Dallas Cowboys. Your take.
I understand why Cincinnati did it to free up the cap space. Was it a smart idea? I'm on the fence. That tells me that they're going to throw Joe Burrow to the Wolves right off the bat. This isn't the Bengals of the early 2000s where he had Rudy Johnson behind him. He don't have T.J. Houshmandzadeh to throw to. He doesn't have Chad Johnson / Ocho Cinco to throw to. He's got Joe Mixon. That's it. Coming from LSU and having a pretty well-rounded team to go into a team that it's pretty well expected to fail and not having anybody to have your back. You know, everybody knows that I'm a huge Joe Mixon fan, Boomer Sooner, but the guy has not produced since he's been in the NFL. I think the smart thing would have been to try to hold on to Dalton for one season, let him sit behind Dalton for a season, and then try to use Dalton as trade bait to maybe get him a receiver or a draft pick to draft another receiver next season.
I agree.
As far as them signing him to Dallas, what's going on there?
Well, I mean, the way I look at this whole thing is, and the one thing I will agree with you on this, to a certain extent, is I think Cincinnati should have held on to him for 1 year. But where I have to disagree with you is, the 17. Well, kind of agree, disagree. $17.7 million is a lot of damn money. Now I know to me and you, that's an astronomical amount of money for an NFL football team. It ain't shit. But do you hold on to a guy for one more season for $17.7 million, just in the hopes that Joe Burrow kind of learns something? What is Joe Burrow going to learn behind Andy Dalton in 1 year? There's a part of me that enjoys a coach or a system that says, all right, kid, you're the number one pick, right? Peyton Manning has come out and said, you are the second coming. We're throwing your ass to the wolves, and let's see what you got. Because, see, my personal opinion is, you and I both know Peyton Manning's a perfect example, and this is why I think Peyton Manning is such a fan of Joe Burrow. Peyton Manning's first year was horrible. It was horrible. See, Peyton was thrown to the wolves as well. So when Peyton came in, I think he led the league in interceptions. I think, it may be a record that still stands to this day. And look what he ended up to be.
Right.
I think when you take a young man like that, instead of coddling his ass, all right, you a big boy now. You going to the NFL draft. You a big boy. You number one pick. All right, let's see what the hell you got. And let's be honest, he's got all the time in the world, before the season starts to figure out that playbook, figure out that system. Let's see what you have. Because my personal opinion is, listen, you and I work for a living. We go to work on a day-to-day basis. Nobody give us no second chance. We don't get to sit behind nobody else and learn. These are professional athletes. So get your ass out there, do your job, and if you fall on your face, you fall on the face. But see, the difference between me and you and them is he's going to have a contract. He's going to be safe for a couple of years. Me and you go to work, we don't do our job at an exceptional level, we get fired. So that's kind of how I look at it. But I did think it was interesting that they cut Andy Dalton. Now, on the back side of this, on the flip side of this, give me your take on the whole Dallas situation with this. Because that's going to be some interesting shit.
It's going to be very interesting. And I'm sure everybody has seen by now that Des Bryant has stood out and said, no disrespect to Andy Dalton, but give Dak his damn money.
I agree.
Dallas is in a unique situation because they just signed a decent quarterback that hasn't done a whole hell of a lot. And currently they're in contract negotiations with a decent quarterback who doesn't let's try it one more time, huh? A decent quarterback who has not done a hell of a lot. But here's the thing. We've seen what Dak Prescott can do with guys like Ezekiel Elliott and Des Bryant and so on and so on. We have not seen what Andy Dalton can do with a guy like Ezekiel Elliott. And I understand Dallas is, they're in a little tougher conference than Cincinnati. But Andy Dalton has had some successes in Cincinnati just with mediocre players.
Yeah.
Mark
my words. Mark my words. One injury to Dak Prescott, and this whole thing changes. You see what I'm saying?
Are they going to sign Dak is the question.
Well, this coming year, right? They franchised him, right? So they got this 1 year with him. During this year, he gets injured, and Andy Dalton comes into play. It's going to change the whole dynamic of the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, right?
We're going to really see what some of these boys on the Cowboys really think about Dak Prescott. They want Dak Prescott there. Ezekiel Elliott better put together one hell of a better season than he gave him last season.
You better believe it, because let me tell you something. I have nothing against Dak Prescott at all. I think he's a decent quarterback, but let me put shit in perspective for you. Jason Witten retired. He went into broadcasting. He was talked into coming back for 1 more year. He came back, and instead of retiring again, what did he do? He left, and he signed a contract with somebody else. So did he believe in Dak Prescott? Things didn't make you go, Just putting that out there. So one thing I want to touch on, another point or no point before we go to our first break. Some big news coming out of the NFC South. This is huge news if you're an NFC South fan in the NFL. And I know we're talking a lot about the NFL, but hey, we take what the news gives us, right? We can't be picky. So Jameis Winston, who we all know was released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for obvious reasons, because God himself, number 12, it's according to most folks, now plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, of course, Gronkowski comes out of retirement. He jumps off the top rope from the WWE back into the NFL and didn't even tear a hammy in the process. So
does this make Gronkowski one of the greatest athletes ever? Because Gronkowski is currently on an NFL team and the WWE 24/7 champion.
Negative. So
are we going to see somebody pin him on the 50-yard line for said title?
You never know. He is the current 24/7 title, the champion. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But you and I both know that damn title's about worth the toilet paper I wipe my ass with. So, anyway, moving right along, getting back on track, Jameis Winston, and a shocker for me. And we talked about this last week a little bit, right? Jameis Winston signed a new deal with the Saints. It's been made official. He signed a 1-year deal valued at this is the shocking part. I got to say, my mind is blown. I don't know if he knee-jerked, if he just shit, man. And again, I know we talked about it last week, but the contract details have come out since then. So we got to talk about it. The deal is only worth $1.1 million. He got a $148,000 signing bonus with a base salary of $952,000. His weekly game checks will pay out $56,000 with incentives, of course. Now, keep this in mind. I know. $952,000 for me or you a year would be friggin' insane, okay? But we're talking about a starting quarterback for the last several years in the NFL and in the NFC South, a very tough division. And now he's sitting behind Drew Brees. What's your take on all this, man? I mean, that's a big deal to go in the NFC South, to move from one NFC South team to within another team in that division, especially the Saints, man. Man, he'd been better off going to the Falcons or something, man, as far as money-wise. But
well, I mean, we covered that last week, that the Steelers offered him a considerable amount more money.
Right.
And, I mean,
I didn't say point or no point. I do apologize.
Well, I'm partial to the point, so. It honestly, it shows maturity to me with him, because here's the thing. He could have signed with the Steelers and sat behind Roethlisberger and whoever that kid from Oklahoma State is that got his dome rocked with his own helmet.
Right.
But to take less money to be able to sit for one season behind Drew Brees and learn from Drew Brees, that tells me that he's thinking about his long-term career. You know,
Yeah.
it's either do I want to learn from Drew Brees for less money, or do I want to learn how to be accused of inappropriate things and getting my melon clubbed in for less money?
Hey, and I totally agree with that. Well, my qualm is the amount of money he's taking.
Right.
I mean, come on. New Orleans could have offered him $4-5 million for that 1 year. I personally think Jameis Winston, now his play on the field may not reflect that because of the team he was with and the shit he was surrounded with. And yeah, like I said, all you New England fans out there in the world, all you Brady sycophantic suck ups, and your Gronkowski, all this, all you fans out there, y'all gonna find out this year. It ain't gonna be all peaches and cream and unicorns and rainbows. You're gonna find out that Tom Brady ain't everything he's cracked up to be when he's in a different system, in a different damn division, and an entirely different. He's going from AFC to NFC and to the NFC South. And trust me, you're gonna see Drew Brees make a fool out of Tom Brady. You heard it right here. Now I may eat them words, but I highly doubt it. But anyway,
You got the guy from being used to playing in 40-degree weather and below to playing in 80 to 100-degree weather consistently.
Yep.
At his age, I mean, I'm telling you right now, anybody that is from the north like me, when you're good and comfortable at about 40, 45, 50, 60 degrees, and then summer hits and it's starting to hit 90s and 100s, and you're sitting here, imagine playing 4 hours on a football field and getting the crap kicked out of you all game at, 45 years old?
Hey, one way or the other, we're going to find out just how damn good the almighty Tom Brady is coming up real shortly. That is, of course, if we have a damn season. Now, coming up, we got to take a break real quick. All right? We've got to use the little boys' room. Got to stretch it out, get our hammies back in order, all that good shit. But coming up on the flip side of this break, we have some questions from the Point Nation. We're going to get to that. But first, before any of that, like I said, we got to take a break. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned, because we'll be right back, real short fashion. See you on the flip. Myself and Haystacks. Be back in a second.
Join us next week for another action-packed episode of The Point.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for staying tuned once again to The Point. Back from our little potty break. And like I said, get a little older. Like I said, you can see the gray. Every now and then I got to hit the little boys' room. But that being said, moving right on down the pipe, we got a first question from the Point Nation that's going to be aired right here now, right here from the lips of Haystacks himself. So take it away, brother.
Comes from Chris B. in Auburn, Alabama. Wants to know what we think if Jarrett Stidham is going to be the man that's going to step and transition into Tom Brady's shoes and succeed. His coach from Auburn believes that he will. He says that he's ready to take over for Tom Brady.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for the question. Thanks for being involved. But not just no. Hell no. There is no way in hell he will ever step into the shoes of Tom Brady. That's like asking Jiminy Cricket to step into Michael Jordan's shoes. It just ain't gonna happen. And I understand it's a hell of a system, but there's a glimmer, Haystacks. There's a little tiny sliver of hope if you're a Patriots fan. It's a little bitty, but I just don't see it happening. What do you think?
I saw the kid when he played for Baylor when my boys in Oklahoma whooped him up and down the field. Then he transferred to Auburn, and we did the same thing in the Sugar Bowl. The kid doesn't impress me. He never does. If you lose your starting job at Baylor, of all places, that in and of itself pretty much tells the tale.
Yeah. RG3. Excuse me.
I give him 6 games, and they'll be going elsewhere with him, honestly, if that.
Hey. So there you have it. Thank you once again. Thank you for the participation. Thank you for the question. Again, pointiswhat@gmail.com. It'll be in the description. If you want to be a part of this show, we already got them lined up for next week. We'll have a video question. Again, if you have a question, you want to shoot a video, make sure your phone's in, as they say, cinematic mode, 16:9. Film that question, send it to our email. We'll have you included in the show. Hey, just be respectful, be an adult, and ask some questions. We'll be more than glad to answer you with any expertise we can have and find. If we don't have the questions, the answer to your question, we'll be more than glad to find it. But you will be included. We will not forget you. So moving right along, point or no point. Haystacks, from what I'm hearing, WWE is allegedly to be sold to ESPN and Fox by the middle of May. Point or no point?
No point.
No point. And why is that?
It's just a rumor at this point. I believe the rumor started from Dutch Mantel, of all people. Zeb Coulter, for people that remember the old Jack Swagger, We the People storyline. Honestly, I think Dutch is just talking out of his ass to try to stay relevant one more time since he got thrown out of Impact. But until somebody actually speaks on it from the inside, I don't think there's much of a point to really even talk about it at this point.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit because Vince McMahon is losing his ass. Now, that's the only disagreement on this one. I'll agree with you on the fact that Dutch Mantel, it seems a little desperate, man. But it does seem to have we hear this shit every so often. This rumor keeps coming back up, right? We keep hearing WWE is going to be sold and they're looking at they're selling all their stock. Let's back up here. Stephanie McMahon is a golden child. She's got a silver spoon in her mouth. She sells stock at every chance she can sell stock because let's be honest, when you sell stock, it puts cash in your pocket. She loves spending money. Okay, so don't take don't take stock in these damn rumors. When you hear this shit on the dirt sheets are just that. They're dirt sheets. All right. So moving on. Point or no point. Haystacks, the NCAA has finally outlined a plan to let athletes make endorsement deals. Point or no point?
That is, I hate to point, just because I want to have a moment to freak out about this.
All right. Well, let me give you some details, and we'll get your point on this, okay? Because there is some restrictions. This is an open season for college athletes, although this is a big, big step in college athletics, especially for the NCAA. So the changes with some big restrictions will go into effect at the start of the 21-22 academic year at the consideration and adoption by 3 divisions of college sports. The new NCAA plan would let athletes make deals such as social media influencers, appear in commercials, and be both hold paid autograph sessions, among other opportunities. Keep in mind, social media influencers. Are you ready for this? Social media influencers. Let me preface this. These are the people who say they get on social media, they go live, or they cut videos and they drop them much like a promo, and they say, this product is good. This product is good. Blah, blah, blah. They make in excess of $200,000 to $300,000 per year. Easy. College athletes. You and I both know that would only be the top athletes that draw that. But here's my thing. Social media influencers to this point have not been college athletes. So that number may be extremely low. And you get somebody like a Joe Burrow, for example, who just went number 1 in the draft. Imagine him in his senior year, okay, taking or being a social media influencer for Gatorade, for example. He could make $500,000. He could make $750,000 just on that endorsement alone. Floor is yours.
If the NCAA does this, they need to cut 100% cut athletic scholarships. There is absolutely no way in hell that a kid, and again, I'm not downplaying the fact that playing sports is hard. To get to that level is hard. I understand that. But these kids should not be getting a full ride scholarship, which to places like Ohio State University, University of Oklahoma, University of Alabama, University of Southern California, Harvard. These kids should not be getting $80,000 to $100,000 to $120,000 a year scholarships, plus making in excess of $250,000 a year. Hell no. They should, if they want to do that, they should give up their scholarship. That scholarship should then be turned into an academic scholarship for somebody that actually wants to go to college, to get a damn education, to further their career, to be a freaking doctor, to be a lawyer, to actually be something in life that they may not have the opportunity to get because we're giving $100,000 to a guy to play a game to also make another additional $200,000-$300,000 a year just by showing up and saying, I like this stuff.
Look, see, here's the slippery slope when it comes to college players making money. This is very, very slippery slope, and that's why it has always been no pay for college athletes, pay for pro athletes. You're in college, you don't get paid to play college. Look, if you're going to do this for 4-year schools, you're going to have to do this for 2-year junior colleges. You're going to have to do this for technical institutes. You're going to have to do it. This opens up a can of worms beyond belief. Okay? Pro athletes, they make money to do what they do. You play in college to prove you can make it to that level or to pay out your scholarship. So I agree.
Not only that, but here's the big issue. They allow this to happen, guess what? All those wins that they stripped from USC, the Heisman that they stripped from Reggie Bush, all the players that they suspended from Ohio State for Tattoo Gate, all that shit, wiped clean. They have to give every single one of those players their year of eligibility back. They were suspended from that team. They have to turn around and allow them to make the money that they would have made. Plus, they have to give Reggie Bush back his Heisman Trophy, which in turn he could turn around and sue the NCAA for because they dumped his draft stock with that whole situation. And you have to give all those props back to the University of Southern California.
It's a slippery slope. It's not going to last. This is I know we live in a generation now where it's all sunshine and unicorns and rainbows and everything is everything and up is down and down is up and authority to be damned. This ain't going to work. It's not going to work. What the hell are they going to be working for if they're making this kind of money? Not everybody's going to make this kind of money in college. Not everybody. And you got kids out here that are looking for scholarships that can't get a scholarship because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is getting a scholarship for tennis, for golf, for beer pong, for Christ's sake. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. But you got kids out here that are brilliant kids. And I'm going to say it right here now. You got some of the dumbest son of bitches in the world that are great athletes that ain't going to do shit but play pro sports or fall off after college. And you got other brilliant minds out here that could use these scholarships to change the damn world, man. Hey, they may even be the ones to find the vaccine for the dreaded COVID-19. So, good point. Moving on. Next point or no point. Pittsburgh Steelers, from what I hear, are not likely to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster after this coming season. Point or no point?
Yeah, it's a point.
All right. Well, Ed Boucher of The Athletic said that the Steelers are not likely to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster, while others stating the same for running back James Conner, who does not appear to be in their future plans. 2018, just for a point here, just for reference, Smith-Schuster in 2018 had a breakout season as he hauled in 111 receptions and 1,426 yards and 7 touchdowns. Let me hear your take on this, because I'm not sure what the hell he's due exactly. We're talking about him playing through this coming season and then him not being there the season following that. What the hell, man? How can you say you don't? Is this a rumor? Is this bullshit? Because you don't know what he's going to do this year. You don't know what he's going to bring to the plate. So it sounds a little bit to me like BS.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody may have heard something and jumped the gun. But then again, this could have had something to do with the whole Jameis Winston situation. There may be people that know something that's going on behind the scenes, and everybody's kind of wanting to jump ship too.
That could be. That could be. So my personal opinion is this. He was all the rage a year or two ago. Right? Where everybody was talking about his bicycle was stolen. Any story they could find to talk about Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay? I tell you what, Juju, they don't want you in Pittsburgh. We want you right here in Carolina. I'm telling you. We want you right here. You want to be respected when you ain't talk shit about, come right here. Because we got all the cap space in the world. We can use you. So, moving on. Point or no point. I'm sure you've heard it. Unless you've been living under a damn rock, I'm sure you have heard Mike Tyson is apparently training for a return to the boxing ring, a comeback at the age of 53. Point or no point?
Let's go point.
Wow. Tyson says he's in the best shape of his life. He was on a podcast with T.I., popular rapper named T.I. Of course, I'm sure y'all know who that is. And he says, and I quote, "I've been hitting the mitts for the last week. That's been tough. My body is really jacked up and really sore from hitting the mitts. I've been working out, been trying to get in the ring. I think I'm going to box some exhibitions and get in shape. And I want to go to the gym and I want to get in shape and be able to box 3 or 4 round exhibitions for some charities and stuff. Some charities, exhibitions, make some money, help some homeless and drug-affected MFers like me." So now the focus becomes more clear. Mike Tyson isn't training for a comeback to be world heavyweight champion. Apparently, he just wants to get back into the ring, throw some bows, and raise some money for some charity and maybe put some coin in his pocket. What's your take?
I seen the video of him hitting the mitts with his coach, and I'm telling you right now, at 54 years old, that man has still got some speed, and he was still having some pop on those shots.
And he don't have Don King up his ass. Just saying.
And he don't have Don King up his ass. Could he do a lot of charity fights against a bunch of nobodies and be a big draw still. Absolutely. If Mike Tyson wants to use his image to make money for charity and everything else, more power to the guy. Could he get in there? And his trainer was quoted that he could knock out Deontay Wilder in a minute. I know Wilder didn't look too hot against Fury, but you got to think, man, that you're talking about a man that's got like a 96-inch reach versus Mike Tyson.
We are talking about Mike Tyson here. First and foremost, it would definitely be more interesting than celebrity boxing. Let's go ahead and put that. Let's get that out of the way. But talking about Mr. Wilder, if anybody
line on that one.
Hey, look, if anybody can take the punishment from Wilder, it is most definitely Mike Tyson. Okay, it is most definitely Mike Tyson. And let's not forget, if you've ever watched any of Tyson's fights back in the day, most of them didn't last very long. The power behind Mike Tyson's punches, that's not something you learn, bro. That's something God-given. Now, me personally, how I think this is going to go down is I think he's going to get back into the ring and he's going to knock a few MFers out. And next thing you know, the buzz and everything is going to be created around him. And this shit's going to go a little bit deeper than charity and exhibitions. It's going to go a little bit deeper than catfish coolies and all that shit. It's going to go a little bit deeper than that.
You saying that he's not going to stagger around the ring like the Sandman half drunk?
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They're going to have to pay Mike Tyson a little bit more than a cameo fee to get him in the ring. And when it's going down, right? When it's going down, the shit's going to grow into something more than just exhibitions and charity fights. And if I'm Wilder, just from that mere statement alone, this is the respect that comes along, not with Tyson's reputation outside of the ring, but in the ring. If I'm Wilder and I hear that statement being said or read to me, my butthole puckers up just a little bit because I know there's some truth to it.
If I'm Deontay Wilder right now, I'm doing exactly what he tried to do with the Anthony Joshua fight. I'm getting on Facebook Live. I'm going to Mike Tyson's people and saying, you think he can beat me in a minute? Next year. Here's the date. Here's the money. Let's do it.
Bro.
The rub from that fight. If he knocks out Mike Tyson, he's the greatest freaking boxer in the world because there's only been, I think, one other person to knock out Mike Tyson, and that was Columbus, Ohio's own Buster Douglas.
Lucky.
If you can go the distance with Mike Tyson, that's huge.
Huh.
Would I take a shot in the freaking chin for Mike Tyson for $1 million? I absolutely would.
I don't know about all that.
$1 million?
I don't know about all that. Tyson might mess you up for the rest of your life. You mess around and be like Muhammad Ali.
I mean, I'm already halfway there. I almost died on a piece of freaking steak last night, so.
My apologies to anybody watching. I'm just saying. I'm just stating the point. Mike Tyson, look, bro, like you said, like I've said 1,000,000 times, the rub alone.
Yeah, sorry I stole your line there.
He would get paid out the ass. You want to talk about a marquee matchup. Look, you take James Ellsworth. Let's use a wrestling analogy. You take James Ellsworth, right? He's a nobody, right? Before WWE, nobody ever heard of him. James Ellsworth, look at him now.
Yep.
Okay? Everybody knows who the hell James Ellsworth is, and why is that? Braun Strowman, AJ Styles. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be honest with you. If Deontay Wilder was not involved with WWE, I would have never known who the hell he was, man.
Yep.
And same could be said for Mike Tyson, right? But one thing's for sure, to a certain extent, if you bring in Mike Tyson in any fight and put his name on the damn marquee, you know what you're going to get, Scotty? Hey,
You're going to
Stat.
get Mayweather money.
Cash money. So
he is be getting some Floyd Mayweather money off of that damn fight.
So we'll see if this shit remains charity and exhibition and all that stuff. What I think it's smart on a publicist standpoint. I think it's smart on Tyson's standpoint to say, oh, I'm just going to some exhibitions. I'm going to, little charity work, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to get his foot in the door to see where he's at when it comes to real competition. And when he realizes he's still the beast he is, Wilder might have his damn work cut out for him. So if I'm Wilder, my ass is in the gym busting ass and getting ready for this fight because it may actually happen. So this may be the Brock Lesnar of the boxing world.
It sounds like to me that his coach, because everybody knows Deontay Wilder's attitude and his ego, man. Nothing against Deontay. I love the dude. But everybody knows his attitude and his ego. And I think that was his coach's plan, was to see if he could get him riled up to call out Mike Tyson for a fight, or if Deontay is going to be like, I ain't going to mess with that old man.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, because that old man will knock his ass out. You and I both know it. So moving on, in the interest of time, we're getting kind of short on time here. So I don't know if you heard, Tennessee quarterback Brian Maurer playing suicide in January. He's now seeking treatment. Point or no point?
I think there's a point to this one.
Absolutely. So apparently this kid was struggling with some mental health issues and at one point decided that he may possibly take his life. The cool thing about all of this is that he was going to do it, and he was down. He was getting ready to do it, and he looked up and he said, God, if this isn't your plan for me, send me a sign. He said 2 minutes later, my mom called me with my baby nephew, Jeremiah, and said she was just calling to say that she loved me. And I then knew by, ending my pain, I would be causing so much pain to people who loved me. And God bless this kid, man. He got the sign from God that he was looking for. God bless him. We all deal with shit in life. And hopefully he can be another spokesman, another launching point or conversationalist ambassador for suicide awareness. And I know we in our past ventures have supported this cause and numerous other causes. So your take on this, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. People don't understand, especially with collegiate players, people do not understand the pressure that these kids are under. You've not only got the fans on your ass, but you've got your coaching staff, you've got the boosters. There's a lot of people that are on your shoulders when you are a collegiate player. And to be doing that for free, quote unquote. No, I am not in any way, shape, or form advocating that these kids should be getting paid. That's the choice that they made. It's just like an internship to go into the NFL. But to be playing for free and to have that kind of pressure, it's huge. So I really hope that he comes out of this and ends up being a spokesperson for the calls.
Right. Amen. So God bless you, brother. We're pulling for you here at the point. We got you back 110%. We're glad you're still with us. And anybody out there who is struggling with this kind of thing and you're thinking that suicide's an option, let me tell you right here, right now, it is not. We want you here. We want you here. Everybody. There's always somebody out there in this world that loves you, whether you know it or not. And if nothing else, you should love your damn self. And if you don't, we do. So moving right down the line, Scotty, Haystacks, next point or no point. Bears decline Mitchell Trubisky's fifth-year option, magnifying their mistake. Point or no point.
It'll be a quick enough point.
Yeah, very quick. So by declining the option, the Bears avoid having Trubisky under contract for 2021 at a salary of $24.8 million. That's a lot of damn money. That would have been that would have been guaranteed for injury only, but because the provision is the league's new collective bargaining agreement, that makes the fifth-year options fully guaranteed from the moment they are exercised, only kicks in with the 2018 draft class. Still, the Bears eliminated that risk by declining the option. How do you feel about this option being declined and all this shit? How do you feel about this whole decision from the Bears, and do you think it's the right move?
I definitely think it is. Trubisky is not impressive to me at all. The Bears, there's so many moves right now that the Bears could make. They lost out on Brady, but, there could be the place for your boy, old Cam.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago,
we're going to get to that in just a minute.
Chicago, that's a place, where his flashy dress style would definitely fit in.
True story. So my short and quick take on this whole thing with the Bears and Trubisky is the Trubisky experiment in Chicago didn't work. Trubisky's, he's a Tar Heel guy, right? UNC boy. Love him to death. I just think it wasn't the right system for Trubisky. I think he would thrive in a system such as Drew Brees or Tom Brady has been in the last few years. But, he's just not – he's not cut out for the Bears. He's not cut out to be up there. So, good move all the way around. $24.8 million. You can't argue with the Chicago Bears for doing it and pulling the trigger. But what the hell are they going to do from here? What are they going to do? Who knows? Who cares? Don't give a shit. I will say this. Huh?
Sign Cam Newton.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a second. Now, the only thing that the Chicago Bears have going for them that I like personally, just me personally, is my boy from Bun High School at running back. Okay? And we all know who he is. I've talked about him 100 times. Tariq Cohen, still doing his damn thing. Love the guy to death. From my home county, so of course I got to pull for him, even though I'm not a Bears fan. Now, moving it on, we got to wrap this shit up. We're running over time here. But you spoke about Cam Newton. Everybody knows I'm a Panthers fan, through and through, balls and bones. In fact, I have a belt coming to me, a Carolina Panthers belt that I just had designed. The guy's knocking it out just so I can have in my collection and take the games. Badass. If any of y'all who don't know, hit us up. pointiswhat@gmail.com. We have a guy, a belt maker, best prices in the world, best quality in the world, best leather work in the world. Any belt, anything you can dream up, we can knock out for you at a great, great price. A price you will not find anywhere. Haystack, show them. Anywhere else on the planet. And that's not, I'm not just telling you that. This guy's a beast. Wasif Ashfaq. That's right. He's over in the Middle East, of course. This guy is a beast. He's one of the best at what he does. We'll be more than glad to hook you up. So hit any of us up on Messenger. Yeah, show them off. There you go, right there.
So if anybody doesn't know, that is an image of these two guys that are on your screen right there.
That's right.
Trying to get it in. There is none other than Rick and myself.
Yep.
Personalized nameplate.
Yep.
Side plates.
That was a totally customized belt. You would not believe the price and the turnaround time. Look at the leather cut. The guy's an absolute beast. Show him the back of it. You cannot beat this guy by a mile. I don't care who you are. Price-wise, turnaround time, you cannot beat it. Fully customizable. Anything you can dream up again, he can do. But moving on. Haystacks, you were talking about Cam Newton.
Yes.
Cam Newton came out today and said he will not take a backup job in the NFL. Now, that's per Total Pro Sports. But is Cam Newton the diva of the century? Or is this bullshit rumor?
I don't believe that he would take a backup position.
I don't either. And I think it's a bad move. But then again, if I'm Cam Newton and I'm worth $120 million, who gives a shit? It's kind of how I look at it. So, Haystacks, it's been another successful episode of The Point. Point or no point, it's a success. We're steamrolling ahead. We are starting into our 4th month. Is there anything you want to add before we jump off here and I lay the point smack down on this ass?
Hey, we're getting ready to turn over 600 subscribers. The views are outrageous. We're averaging anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 views per show, man. Appreciate everybody. Again, the email address will be all through this show. If you guys have comments, questions, concerns, topics that you want brought up, if anybody wants to come on, I got a lot of my friends and and people that are in my football groups that they're in these trash talk groups. Y'all want to come on live with us? You're more than welcome. Keep it clean, keep it civilized. Anybody that's watching, you want to come on and talk about sports? Hell, if you're a freaking hockey fan and you want to talk about hockey, you want to come on and talk about NASCAR.
Hey.
Jesus, if you're on here and you're a freaking bocce ball fan, for Christ's sakes, you want to come on here and talk about it, send us a damn message. We'll get you hooked up.
One thing's for sure, if it's a damn sport, we'll talk about it. If you got a heartbeat and you want to come on here and speak on it, we'll bring you on here and speak on it. All you got to do is say, hey, let me in, right? Ain't that what Bray Wyatt says? Let me in. And hey, as always, if you're scared, you can jump in Haystack's hip pocket. But until then, it's time to drop the point on them, Haystacks. So I'm going to go do what I do best. I'm going to drop the point. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for next week. It's been a great Cinco de Mayo episode. I hope you all had a great Cinco de Mayo. Don't party too hard. And please, whatever you do, don't spread the Rona. I know it's a Corona kind of night, but don't spread the Rona too bad. Because hell, I know a lot of y'all got to work tomorrow, right? A lot of y'all out there are essential, so take it easy on the Ronas.
You're out there drinking that Modelo. Don't be spreading it.
That's right. Clamato, Modelo. Have a lot of good times out there, but keep the Corona down to let's keep it to a minimum. So anyway, stay tuned next week for the next episode of The Point. I'm going to drop the point on your Haystacks. Appreciate you, brother, as always. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen out there, we love you, but it's time to go. Thanks for being with us. See you next time. Yeah, what can I say? Another great point episode, man. You guys are killing it with the likes, subscribes, and shares and all that. And we love you and we appreciate it. But hey, it ain't about that. It's time for The Point, and Ricky B is going to give it to you. The point is simply put, if you haven't noticed, between COVID-19, whether it's NFL, NBA, or whatever, you're here one day, you're gone the next. So stay well, take care of each other and your neighbors, take care of yourself, and always remember this. If nobody else in the world has got your back, The Point does, and Ricky B and Haystacks will always, always, always be here for you in the end. If you got anything you want to talk about, please hit us up. thepointiswhat@gmail.com. Check out our Twitter. I'm not going to go all into the addresses because you should already know, and you probably already do. But until next week, happy Cinco de Mayo, and don't have too much damn fun. And don't forget, if you got to work, get that ass up and go. See you next week.
Thank you for watching The Point.